Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. It's the 28th of June. We have had some news this morning around about 1:30 UK time. A little bit of a spike, but nothing major. I did take a small trade on the CL chart. I actually like that. We seem to be sort of working down there. We had a little push up there with a break, bullish bar, crossed over, pushed up and then dropped. So I like that. Now, I've adjusted my risk, or I've sort of done a little bit more risk management. Now, what I've found is, in fact, I'll talk about it when there's a few more people in there, but I have come down to one contract, and I'll explain a little bit why. Morning, Karina, how are you? So, bit of a stinger yesterday, that one loss. Well, I actually looked back at the video, actually. Now, sometimes I'll move it a tick, but I moved it 3 ticks, which I think was a little bit silly, really. So instead of having a $250 loss per account, it was a $325 loss. Now, what I will say is, on the odd occasion, when you do move it a tick, it can make the difference. But I'm starting to think that it may save you 1 in 10 or 15 trades. So I really don't think it makes enough of a difference to do it from now on. So wherever I leave my stop now is where it stays. I'm just going to jump in to the trade and put it where it is, and that's it. Leave it there, because I don't think it makes enough of it. It does save you once in a while, but I don't think it saves you any money. But it, obviously a visually larger loss tends to do more, damage. K3, how you doing, bud? Speedy, how you doing, matey? So what I'm doing, I'll tell you now, and I'll tell you again. What I'm finding now, I'm trading larger account sizes. I'm getting quite nervous getting into trades, and I'm getting out earlier than I should. And I think in most cases, the last 3 or 4 winning trades I've taken, I've got out at around about a point. So it's kind of counterproductive, really. There's no point in risking 2 contracts if I'm just going to get out for a point. And what I've found as well is I'm missing some contracts because I think I'm probably being a little bit overcautious. So what I've decided to do is drop down to 1 contract. Now, the beauty is, because of the less risk, I'll tend to let the trade run to its 2 points. So in actual fact, I'll probably end up with the same amount of profit that I'm doing when I'm trading 2 contracts. And not only that, I've got more chance of getting into a trade rather than being too nervous to get out. So I think I'll be no worse off profit-wise. So actually, I kind of like that as a spiking channel. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I'll be no worse off profit-wise. So what's that look like? I actually prefer that, I think. So yeah, it just makes sense, I think. Let me just sort of right click and save that. You'll actually be slightly better off as your commissions. I was just going to say that 4 commissions instead. But yeah, the trouble is, if I'm risking 2 contracts and it's creating a little bit too much pressure and nerves, I'm coming out the trades with half the amount of profit. So the sensible option is to reduce the risk by half, so not as scary, not as much loss, and then end up going for the full 2 points, and I'll come out, like you say, with the same amount of profit, but I'll save 1 contract on the commission. So yeah, better off, less stress. So it makes sense. Now, if I can get these accounts up to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, then you can relax a little bit more. But while you're slowly starting them to build. But yeah, it was a bit of a stinger yesterday, but I can comfortably walk away and have a good evening, and it doesn't bother me. I could have never done that 4 months ago. I'd have had to continue to trade. I wouldn't have been able to go away at a loss. And I walked away, went and had me tea, had a great evening, didn't even think twice about it. because finally my brain's been transformed to a degree where I just don't let it affect me anymore. It's a waste of time. Does you no good. So I think we've probably had a leg down with a break, 2 pushes to a new low there. So I think probably that's better. Especially what I'm seeing now. Yeah, so it makes perfect sense. Yeah. So yeah, I really like that setup. You can loop in down. You can see we're coming down to here. And we had a little channel there with a little break, big push up. It came down, pushed straight up and came down nice and strong. So that's rejection off that top, really. So I took there. I got out for, I think it was a couple of ticks off maximum. But what I wanted to do, I got out for $70. But what I wanted to do was get out. I got in a tick below. It was about there. So yeah, $70. I wanted to get out. I like to get out before the bodies. It did work, but I find sometimes they'll tick below the body but not push down to the lows, so I don't mind on that occasion taking a little bit less. But $70. In fact, one of my accounts didn't actually close and continued on down just for another tick, but I did spot it, closed it down. That's why I have this on the screen, my positions, because I could see it had a red triangle, so I just clicked the red triangle. And that sorted it out, and it stayed here in my P&L, in my positions tab in Rhythmic for some reason. I tried to right click that and it wouldn't have it, so I just closed it, reopened it, and it's gone, and everything's fine. So it's, you know, if there's any sort of newer guys in here, please make sure you have this positions tab on Rhythmic in view so you can see it and get access to it, because you'll see when the trades close, all these little crosses here grey out. If there's any of them still live, there's a red cross, so you can just close them down individually. And also you can see here the Ninja Trader positions and orders as well have these both. So when you open a position ready to drop into place, sorry, an order, you'll see it here, and then when it triggers, you'll see it here. So just make sure when a trade is closed, both the positions and orders tabs in your Ninja Trader are both closed. There's nothing in there. And then make sure everything's grayed out in your positions tab in Rhythmic, and that way you'll do your damnedest to protect yourself. Keep some stats when you prove it out. When you prove it out, you can scale up again. Yeah, absolutely. I think every time you scale up a little bit, you trade more accounts, stuff like that, there is an element of I suppose a little bit of nerves involved. You do anything new, there's a little bit of nerves. And I think before I had this, the most I traded was about 4 PAs. Now I've got 20 and I'm trading a 10 at a time. So it is a little bit more. And when you jump into a trade and you see, you know, with 2 contracts, you see it goes down to 1 point profit, $100. You're not seeing $100, you're seeing $1,000. And in a lot of cases, I think that's why I'm getting out of a trade early. So I've got risk from 2 contracts, but I'm only really taking the profit from the equivalent of 1. So it makes perfect sense to reel it back a little bit. I've given myself a little bit more breathing room. Scale up last week and I lost 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, I've tried various different types of going for more profit. What I used to do was, let's say I took that short there, instead of having a fixed two points, I'd have my profit down here, and as it moved down, I would just bring my stop down and try and capture as much out of each move. The trouble is with that, sometimes it will come back and stop you out. So what I found is what I started doing was as soon as we had that initial push, I'd put a stop there, but so many times then it'd come back and take you out for break even, and you wouldn't really get anything. So I don't think that's a bad strategy of trying to capture more profit, because if you follow each bar down there, if you got in there, let's say there, and followed each bar down, where would you get taken out? Okay, so you'd be down to there. You put at the tops of each bar, you get stopped out there. So there's 4.75 points there as opposed to 2 or however many there is. So I'd say there's more than double the amount of profit there. So sometimes it does work. But you have got to have a little bit more, a little bit bigger ball, shall we say, because, you know, you've got to be able to sort of play the game, and you know, if you decide to do something, you've kind of got to stick with it. But yeah, just for now, I was chatting with my wife last night, and just trying to think the most sensible thing to do. Now I've got these accounts. See, I want to try and get as much value as I can, but obviously I want to make sure I'm not risking too much. But the thing I have got now, which is incredibly important, is that mindset now that I can walk away after a loss or 2 losses, and it used to just plague me for the rest of the night until I came back and revenge traded, but now it doesn't bother me in the slightest. It is amazing really how your mindset does change with given time, because I'd have never have been able to do that. So what sort of day we're going to have? In fact, I'm going to open that up a bit, because that thing is continuing down. Actually, it looks a little better now. So, see, if only in hindsight we knew what was going to hold on, because if you knew that was going to come back. In fact, I actually looked at that one there. Now, why do you think I didn't take that setup there? Why do you think I stayed out of that setup? That triple test, because it was almost the identical setup to the trade I lost yesterday. We'd bounced 3 times at a potential bottom, so I was itching to take that, absolutely itching, but I stayed out of it, and the thing went up a bit and then dropped like a stone. So that would have worked, but we've bounced 3 times, which is very similar to yesterday. But that's why I traded it. I think if you trade one account only until you get a payout mentally, you will not feel much pressure when you trade. Absolutely, mate. That's because the trouble is, if I'm getting into if partially I'm scared to take a trade, so there's been a couple of trades last week which were perfect second entries. Now, that made me suspicious, because I thought this looks a little bit too good to be true. And then I noticed on the forum, on the Thomas Way Discord, nearly everyone took it bar me. Now, I'm straight away thinking $250, $300 risk. So it's becoming more of a hindrance, really. So if you're risking too much and it's getting too much pressure and too scary, the simple answer is to reduce the risk until it's manageable. Because what you don't want to be doing is coming out of a trade with only half the amount of profit you really should take. And what you don't want to be doing is missing trades. See, unfortunately, I really like that. We got a lovely leg up there, 2 lovely legs back, and worked beautifully. Oh, that's very, very tempting. Very tempting, that is. Trouble is, we're very close to those highs, and it's quite a big bar as it is. Unfortunately, I'm going to stay out of this one. Simple answer is 1, because it's 12 ticks and it ain't finished yet. I have a feeling it may end up a bit bigger. And ideally, you really want to be out before the highs, but there's nothing there, is it? We could make a triple test here and come down. So if this bar closed down here, then I may have a go. But in my opinion, you can't do nothing with that, really. Now, we may go up for another leg. It's certainly possible. but we're also around this midline, so we could get a rejection here, and it may come down. So unfortunately, I'm not risking 14, 15, 16 ticks on that for a couple of ticks. It's not worth it. But yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. But once your accounts grow, if you've got 20 accounts with $10,000 in, you can trade 2 contracts quite happily, because if the loss is just not going to affect you, you're risking probably about 3 or 4% when you get to that amount, which is, I think that's why a lot of traders, professional traders, talk about the kind of 2 or 3% risk, because with that amount of risk, it doesn't do you any real psychological damage. If you're risking, even a professional trader with his own pot who's been trading 20 years, if he risks 10%, you can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be a little bit more nerves there. So the whole idea of reeling it back is to give you such a cushion that there's no way you're going to blow the account unless you did something absolutely stupid. And really, what I mean by stupid, I mean is revenge trade. But by the time you get to that level and you start trading your own money, one's assuming that that's long gone. You got a bit of controversy at the moment. I've been noticing on the news in the US at the moment with Biden. He didn't look very well, did he? I saw that debate, or part of that debate, and he seemed to zone out for a bit. It was a little bit worrying, actually. It was a bit scary. I mean, he's quite an old guy. I mean, you get strokes and all sorts at that age, and it just it's a little bit scary, I think. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in the coming days, because you got an election, I think November, haven't you? We got an election in a week or so. So I think it probably did trump the world of good, but politics aside, the guy didn't look very well, did he? So I hope he's okay. Okay, so this is pushing up like I thought it probably would do, but it's irrelevant really. There's just no space to go long there, which is a shame. I was watching a couple of videos of fair value gaps last night, which actually made a lot of sense. And I was watching a woman called Tanya take a trade, and she was taking a trade yesterday. And as a price action trader, I was looking at the trade thinking, I would not take that. We've already had 2 legs up. And rightly so, the trade failed on us. So I wonder, looking at this fair value gap stuff, knowing what we know as price action traders, would our skill as price action traders help us? Because we'd had a leg up, and the second leg, we'd had 1 leg up, and the second leg up. There was a fair value gap here. It came down, and she was going to go long gear to up here. So I'm thinking, well, two legs have played out. And it went up a little bit and up a bit and then dropped. But it actually makes sense, these gaps, because we know these gaps generally get filled. And if anybody doesn't know what fair value gaps are, it's just a gap in the market that hasn't crossed itself. And there's one there. And what it basically is, where that wick closed and where that wick either side of it began left a gap between that wick and that wick, if that makes any sense. It didn't make sense at the beginning. And that is a gap in the market, or what they call a fair value gap. You can see there where it hasn't tested that, because normally everything gets tested. So the theory is, when you get a pullback to it, as long as it doesn't close below that middle line, which it didn't, you go long there, in which case that one would have worked. But she took a trade here. We'd had a fair value gap here, and it was coming to the top of a second leg where I wouldn't. So being a price action trader, I was thinking, actually, you could really, the price action skills, read the market, because so many people trade based on what a bunch of indicators are telling us, don't they? And I mean, it's only a given time frame. You look at the time frames, it's not a gap. Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about it, but you know, the main point I was making, that you know, as a price action trader, we tend to follow very closely legs, don't we? But we'd had a first leg up, 2 legs back, and the second leg was split into 2, and the fair value gap, I think, was about here somewhere, and she entered here with a stop here and a profit target up here. But having made the 2 legs, I could kind of see it wasn't going to work. So it's quite interesting. I think she was looking at the 1 minute, the 2 minute, and the 3 minute, and so on and so forth. It's kind of like a higher low there. Leg and a leg. See, so far we look like we're ranging a leg up. There is a higher low there, but leg and a leg. I don't think it's a bad trade, actually. A leg. But technically that trade has played out. So as much as I think this is looking like a range, it may not. Quick spike there. What's that? TBM trades by Matt has many good trades with wicks. Test on the 5 minute. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? There's so many different trades. I think when you can trade, especially price action trade, you can adapt those skills to other things, can't you? I actually don't think that was a bad trade, actually. We've had 2 legs back. We've pushed up, come back. I like the way we've bounced off. We've bounced off there, so that is probably going to work. I was very tempted, but it's close to those highs again, isn't it? I'm just assuming at the moment. See, I'd want 2 points there. Looks like it might get it. I was assuming we were going to push up here, but we've only really been up here once, so I'd like to at least find you a leg and a leg. Yeah, see what I mean? It might not make a difference. So it certainly made 2 points, no worries there, but then that just spooked me, that did, coming back. See, I'm assuming at the moment we're in a range, but let me have a look at this. So we've had a leg up, 2 legs back, and I think it's fair we get another leg up. Yeah. It's very tempted to take that. My only slight concern is we've had 2 legs back, we've made a new high. So I want to see a little bit more continuation before I take that. So yeah, trouble is that's a push up and it's a pullback. So I think it's probably gone a little bit too far for a higher low. But at the moment we've had a channel with a break and a new high, so it may have played out. Right, let's have a look at this CL chart. That looks to me like we've had 2 legs. 1 leg, 2 legs. Yeah, we have. So that we've had a nice measured leg on there. Where did we get to? So we've had a leg up and a leg up, a leg back and a leg back. Yeah, it was a bit more than I wanted to risk, really. So tick above, tick below. It's about 3.25 points there, which is quite large, really, considering the ATR is only 2 at the moment. I'm quite surprised that's so goddamn big. So let's have a look at the actual bar itself. The bar itself is 2.75 points, which is rather large, really. It doesn't look large, but tick above, tick below. It's a 3.25 point risk. Well, England lost yesterday in the cricket. Got battered, I think is probably a better word, by India. I can't say India played brilliant. Their bowlers were incredible. Yeah, I think there's a day next week, is it? Day's the 4th. So no trading. In fact, it's the yeah, 4th's the Thursday, isn't it? Now I know the UK's got an election on the 5th, so trading might be quiet from a UK point of view here anyway. And obviously an election affects other parts of the world as well. In the UK, I suppose it affects other parts, maybe the US to a degree. So I'm guessing really you'd think a lot of people would be taking obviously the Thursday off for July the 4th, and then obviously, you know, maybe some celebrations or some barbecues or some drinking. So I'm guessing the Friday's going to be quiet as well. So I'll check in on the Friday. I'll see what people are doing. This is turned into a nice channel, actually, isn't it? That measured move is played out. But the thing about this, it seems so much more trustworthy, doesn't it? If you just sold up there, it worked. You sold that. I was so tempted to take that one, but after yesterday, and we had exactly the same 3 touches, one, an area of 2, 3, and if we look left, there's some support there. So I just thought this is the type of thing that trapped me yesterday. But there doesn't seem to be as many traps on the CL for some reason. I don't know why. It almost seems so much more trustworthy. You know, trades like that, shorts like that far away from the EMA, usually would get stopped out before it moved down. You know, even that one there, far from the EMA, worked. That one there even worked. So it does seem less trappy, this. It seems to flow a little bit without being a bit more trustworthy. Whether that's just me or not, I don't know, but it certainly feels that way. Okay, so I thought there was a good chance we'd get up there. I didn't realise we'd do that quite quick. It's 3 o'clock, isn't it? We've had some medium impact news there, which doesn't really do much. It probably did a little bit more than normal. But yeah, a little bit of a push. Nothing major, but you'd certainly look at that and think, what's caused that? But I just had a quick glance at the time and yeah, it makes sense. That's, can you please try to reload the C? I certainly can, mate. Reload. The reload, I want to compare with you. Does that look any better? Does it really? Let's reload this again then. Reload. Me too. I have a huge red bar. Let's have a look. See if anything's different. Give that a second to load. My chart is wrong again now, is it? Right, is that any better? CL. Is this it? Okay, is that CL any better, is it? Let me just look at my just check you got the same as me. I think you have. Just have a look in that, make sure everything's the same as me. I think it's more the break end of day and everything else. Just make sure it's the same as that. Oh wow, look at that on the straight up. So little channel like that, a couple of, we'll definitely call that an overshoot. Hopefully that'll improve a little bit. Okay, is that any better? Changed into a huge barrier. Oh, look at that. So we got a leg up and a leg up. Let's zoom out here. I think it is good to have a look at these bigger pictures, isn't it? You got a leg up there, load of sideways, another leg up. I I mean, we're into new territory up here. It's okay until you reloaded it. How was it? So yeah, we're into new all-time highs again up here. Who knows where it can go? There may be a small overshoot on that. I'm not massively convinced. I can actually move that up a tiny touch there and sort of micro adjust this. Not sure about that. Let's zoom out and have a look. So we've kind of had push up, a couple of legs back, another push up, and a big drop. So I expect at least a couple of legs up in the other direction. It's a fair old push, that. So I think it likely we have a couple of pushes up maybe to try and retest something like this. Who knows? Yeah, let's reload mine again, see if it makes a difference. Third time lucky. Reload. See if that helps you. Fair. I'm guessing that's going to be better because that actually fits now. Touching perfect, touching perfect, touching perfect, and now that's still in. So it's always with a CL. Have you got the same as me in the data series? Just to check everything's the same there. Have a quick look at that. I've got it set to 3. I don't think it matters, but I think that tends to make a difference. I mean, even sometimes with the best intent, it's going to be a little bit different. I think it's down to, you know, the servers, how quick they get to your computer and load on your chart versus mine. It could be internet speed. I suppose technology is nearly perfect, but not quite so. Getting exactly the same picture to everyone's screen all over the world at exactly that same time sounds like a feat of engineering we may never quite reach. So I'm guessing they're probably maybe for the most of the time be okay, but you may get a little bit of discrepancy here or there. But I think the general picture is, I really want to take that as well and look at it. Damn market. 1 minute it doesn't give you it, next minute it throws it right in front of you. When you leave it, down it comes. No. Top margin, that's what I wanted. A bit less. That's better. Broken tier, is it? Yeah, we're into new territory here. All-time high level. You reset an inch straight up, yeah? Okay. This channel's starting to look lovely, isn't it? Look at the size of the damn thing. I'm going to run out of screen soon. Look how nice it's fitting along that bottom line. Look, you couldn't get any better than that. That's so weird, isn't it? Okay, the normal CL is black. Normal CL is back. Okay, I have the something, same bars now. Good on you. So that might be the option then, just to reset things. So maybe looks like two legs up there, leg and a leg. There is a second entry short there, but it's congested there. I'd like to get another leg up before I even consider going short. It is a second entry short, but I'm not, it's just too low anyway for starters. Nothing I could do there. Oh, Sam, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? Good. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, excuse me, just for a quick 1 minute. Oh, is that a small overshoot I see there? See, look at this. Second entry short, and it's worked. Everything just seems to work. Hey, Chris, how you doing, bud? How you doing, mate? Look, it just seems to work. Doesn't seem to matter where you take a trade here. They seem to work. If you'd have took that one, it worked. That one, it worked. Every time it come back to there, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Kind of rubs your face in it, doesn't it? Damn thing. Damn thing. Just longing micros whenever. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for micros. Just keep pushing, is it really? Yeah, this thing is about as well. It's weird, isn't it? Mind you, the trouble is with me, the one, if I decided to get into it now, I guarantee you this thing would drop like a stone. Party gone, be over sometime. Party gone. What have I missed? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. 55.48 was a good long 55.48. Oh, down here somewhere. Down here. Yeah. If we knew where to go along there, yeah, I mean, going along down here would be. Mind you, we got a channel with a break, 2 pushes down. That was a good pullback, yeah. I mean, that is a leg, isn't it? I am starting to look at bigger pictures. We clearly got a leg up. I mean, we had a leg up there, didn't we? Break new high, 2 legs back, another leg and a leg. So you think likely we're going to get up here and then probably something like that, whatever. Yeah. Now we seem to be getting an overshoot on the CL. Looking at the left of the pullback, kind of confirmed it. Well, here you mean there. Just lost collection to Apex Rhythmic. Yeah, I do once in a while. It just drops off. It happened to me yesterday. And I had to reset it. What is that? Yeah, sorry. That's 2 legs as well, yeah. Here comes that thing, a little overshoot there, and woof, down we come. Kind of had to, really, didn't it? I mean, look where it right is. If this is a channel, which it probably is, we're right hugging the top there, a little bit of an overshoot, push up, and then woof, down we go. And an overshoot on the CL as well. I mean, that's quite a fair old chunk down. We're going to have a pullback here, surely. So whether you consider that an overshoot, it may be. It's hard to say, but I'm just very careful with going along here at the moment. I want to see a couple of legs, really. That's 1 leg to me. So we have got some distance we can get up there, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will. See, they're also a little double top there. As I say, we're into all-time territory up here, so who knows? But 2 pushes up. We've got to get a bounce at some point, a leg and a leg. So we've got a little channel there with a break and a new low. So I wouldn't be surprised there if we had a couple of legs up and then started to come down in the channel. I wouldn't be shocked. Ended up having something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. Lovely looking channel, that. But that, I mean, that's fitting that beautifully. That, for me, is a clear overshoot. Strong push-up, possible higher low, who knows? After that, I'd expect something like that. Yeah, I'll be very nervous about going long here. There is a second entry short here, but I wouldn't dream of taking that because of the overshoot. So it may trap that if it ends up bearish and push up. So I would consider that a failure. See what happens. No, it hasn't anyway. Hey, Rodin, how you doing, bud? How's the weather where you are at the moment? I got 2 good trades, and since it's Friday, I won't try anymore. Good on you, mate. Sensible decision there. 2 definitely done. Definitely. Have a good weekend, bud. There is a second entry short there, but after that overshoot, I couldn't bring myself to take that, so it'll be interesting to see if it triggers and pushes up some more. It's a bit of a doge anyway, so one leg back. I'd like to see another one. 28 degrees. That's not a bad temperature, that, isn't it? We had about 20, I think we had about 26, 27 a couple of days ago. It's nice, that, innit? It's nice and warm, but not stifling. Mind you, it obviously depends on the type of heat as well, really, doesn't it? So, see, there's a possible higher low there. You got to be so careful, though. I think after that overshoot and this, it could trigger you and come down for a second leg. That would be my concern. I'm going to say it's quite a small bar, but it's still 8 ticks, isn't it? That's just not filling me full of confidence, in all fairness. It may work, but I'm just staying out of this. It's all right for winter in Brazil. It's a bit, yeah, it is amazing how some countries. I mean, it's like places. One place I'd love to sort of go and live is Dubai. And you say there because they have the nice weather, but they had absolute torrential rain and storms and flooding there, didn't they, 6 months ago? I mean, literally masses of flooding, and they're just not kitted out for it. I've got to say, I bet that desert greened up for a few days afterwards. Yeah. There's a failure there, but that is still a bit too far down to me, and the bar ain't brilliant. But it's an overshoot. Very tempted to take that. Trading 15 contracts at a time. Yeah, I bet you do, mate.
Order submitted.
11 ticks. How much is that? 240. Trouble is, it's so far towards the top of this. It is a failure, but it's, if anything's trapped, it's kind of not trapped now, isn't it? Very tempting, but it's too big a risk for me, in all fairness. Not only that, let's see what happens here. See if we can get another little pullback, a limit order, or even maybe a higher low from that. That might not be a bad option. There is a kind of higher low here, which is touching that. Trouble is, it's very flat along there, so it's just too risky. That's just got taken out now. Yeah, and my suspicions it might. How far is that going to go down? Leg down, 2 pushes up, leg down, leg and a leg. That's why I had that down there. Tempted to get into that on a limit order. You're a failure there, isn't there? Not really trapping anything, that's the trouble.
Order submitted.
A relatively small risk anyway. Leg down, leg up. Come on, push up a bit. One, two, three. Just going a little bit sideways now, this is. Hmm.
Order
Oh,
filled.
it got me, did it? What happened? Is everything still out? They closed. There's still one in.
Order filled.
Did that work? No. It's out.
Order filled.
We're out. What happened there? Not sure what happened there. We had a bit of a loss there. Got out for break even. The one went down a little bit. Show nothing changed. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? We're out for break even anyway. The one just seems a couple of ticks less or something. So not sure.
Order submitted.
There's a higher low there. Come on, trigger that bull bar. Come on, push up, you bloody thing. Come on. Push. Push. Come on. Push.
Order
Oh.
filled.
What do you think? It's probably going to go, probably rock it up, but I don't know. That's where it had been. I got to get into the habit of just leaving it, so at least I'm up a bit anyway today anyway, so that's a little bit better than nothing, isn't it? I'm up about $85 per account, so that's better than nothing. Emitting bars together. I've had that in the past before I had Bud. I used to get all sorts of weird glitches in mine for some reason. I can't remember how I got rid of them now. I think I contacted Apex and they said to delete something and change something and something like that. I know it sounds a bit vague, I apologise, but 2, 3. I'm going to get a lower high down here for a leg and a leg. There is a lower high down here. Trouble is, I can't see much in the way of liquidity down here. That's the trouble. Is there much down there? There may be some below there. Probably going to get a leg and a leg. It may not get down that far. That's the problem. That one. Leg down. 1, 2, 3 attempts to go higher. So we could get a leg down here. I looked at that one. I'm not sure because I can't see much in the way of liquidity. There's probably going to be some below there, but not a massive amount. Push up. 2 attempts to go lower. Up again. I think that would have been safe, to be fair, if I'd have just left it and not monkeyed when we trades, as Matt calls it. Okay, so that would have worked. It was tempting, but after the break, the trouble is it can do multiple things with an overshoot. This, to me, the way this is pushing up, could have 2 legs down and push up some more to this level. But that's a could. There is a second entry long there now, possibly forming. But there's going to be longs in there, longs in there, longs in there, and then longs in there. That, to me, looks like a massive liquidity push. So I'm just staying out of this at the moment, sorry. That triggers longs, 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 longs. Now I know we've had an overshoot and a push up and a break, and 3 attempts at a new high there, 3 bars all finished there. So that to me is a little tad risky. I wouldn't be surprised if that took that out, and then that. I hope I'm wrong. Look at it turn now. So that is a couple of ticks off taking that out. I wouldn't be surprised, in all fairness, because there is quite a bit of liquidity there just to clean up before we have a push higher. Right, so that one, if you'd have taken that one and granted leg up with the break, trouble is we've had 3 bars there which have all closed there, so that to me was always going to be a trap. And that one, that may hold, it's hard to say, but there is liquidity there and there, so kind of glad I got out the way I did, actually. One of those may be lucky.
Order submitted.
High low there. 2 legs back. High low. See how we get on here. Hopefully a small bar. Tag me. Come on. Bastard. I think that was okay there. Whether that give me 2 points. Let's have a look. Either got out there for 2 points. Look at that. That's almost definitely going to get me, surely. Oh, what a bugger. Look at that. That's annoying, isn't it? Trouble is, after 2 perfect measured legs down and a higher low, it was almost going to push up, wasn't it?
Order cancelled.
That's a shame. That's a shame. So I think after these 2 pushes down, if it can push above that AMA way, yeah, look at that. So if you'd have taken that one, I had a feeling that was a weak bar, maybe there. That to me was a strong. So that is, I think, likely now going to push up. So that's frustrating there. I'm really frustrated about that. That would have been a quick quick $1,000. That would have been well needed. And I really like that too. Perfect measured legs down. You can see. I like it when it does that. Builds up some structure there. Clearly 2 legs down, leg down. A couple of legs up or 3 attempts to go higher. Probably a triple test there actually. Followed by a lower high both work, then a higher low. A little sideways but a small risk. Yeah. I don't mind that so much, especially when it's making out that measured move. I think you could probably say even a failed breakout as well, was it? It's a bit sideways there, so bounce, definitely some support along there, higher low. Yeah, worth the risk, I think. Well, it clearly would have made the points. So I think after that, it's certainly going to work up to these highs. That's the type of trade, what's it used to take a lot, the guerrilla trader, and he'd have his profit up here somewhere, which I think is probably right. Because this is doing what it looks like. I think it's doing what it looks like it is doing, if you know what I mean. Leg down, up to these highs. So holding that, I think, would be a good idea. That's the type of trade that you want to hold if you can find them. We're up to 4 points. You'd have got 4 points so far, but I think that's likely going to get right up there, probably even higher. So, I mean, there's a potential 10 points up there. So I'd like it to push up and then maybe have a test to the underside, the inside of this. Thing is, it's an overshoot, so it could act differently. But yeah, see, look, if I'd have just left that one, look at that, came back, took out that one and that one. I see that all the time. Any strong position doesn't often get taken, and there was a nice failure there. So after that overshoot and that massive push down, there's going to be institutional traders, you think, buying at this area. Well, maybe not, but there's going to be traders buying there, and that stop stayed intact by a few ticks. But now look at that now. So a couple of legs back, trap some longs there, and then woof, up we go. And I wouldn't be surprised if this thing ended up plumbing up here. So I think once you get really experienced this and you get deep pockets, you know, taking a trade like that or even that one, and just, you know, when we get that second, when we have these few, it was like a triple test. Once we have that initial push up, putting that to break even and then just following up at each swing. Yeah, that's the type of trade I want to get into, the more of a swing trading type thing. That's all, yeah. But look at that, really big push down, lovely looking channel, and then look how nice that worked along that bottom channel there. It works beautifully, and that was a clear overshoot. And then we had a higher low there, which I left, a little bit of congestion. It could get a failed breakout. Sometimes it'll attempt it, but when we had that one, I liked it. But at the moment, because I had that loss yesterday, and my accounts are low, I just kind of want to get in and get out, but worked out okay. But yeah, I mean, look at that. I wouldn't be surprised if we came back maybe at another bounce and then push right up. You know about on the, yes, I looked at that, yeah. very tempted. How far has it gone? Let's see if it comes back. 1.25.
Order submitted.
I don't think it's going to come back, is it? It's gone too far. So actually, there's been some setups here. You may have had a go at that triple test there. Leg down, 3 attempts to go higher, 2 legs down. Look at it now, look. Trouble is, after this overshoot, you don't know what's going to happen. Wow, look at that, see. God, I'm glad it didn't get me now.
Order cancelled.
See, 2 legs down, push up. And originally, wow, look at that. I see. Look at that. That one's still intact, the higher low. Leg and a leg. Is that an option to go long? Ice nose. I think glad it didn't get me. Gone too far, I think, by this time anyway, but what would that have given you? I mean, it would have given you a scale. I'm starting to see it about 1.25 at the most. I'm wondering now whether we're actually in a range. This trading game can mess with your brain, can't it? Yeah, he take that. I'll tell you something though. I got a lot of respect for that guy because he's got balls of steel. He sees a setup and he takes it. And he takes quite a few setups, but his win rate is really good. So I think he's actually a pretty good trader. Yeah, he's got a lot. I like him. I love his style of trading. He just doesn't piss around. He just goes for it. But he does take what I would consider as pretty smart trades. Some of the ones I think, yeah, I think that's going to do that I haven't got the nerve to do, and he does. So I like him. I always watch his videos when he puts them out, but he took some the other day, and he was up about $1,300 on 20 accounts. So, and they were PA accounts. I wish he'd stream, to be honest with you. He does have his losing times and his losing days, but he's very matter of fact. He sees it, takes it, moves on. But sometimes he'll wait another 20 minutes and take another trade. Nothing seems to faze him. He's kind of a fearless trader. I think he's really what we all kind of want to be like. But he's not careless fearless. He's sensible as well. He plays the proper game. Do you know what? We've had this overshoot with the break. 3 attempts to go higher. I think there's a chance now this could reverse. I wouldn't be surprised if this came down now. So let's just have a look at this overall market. We've had 2 legs up. We haven't quite made the measured move, but we could have we've had a sort of a break after an overshoot. 1, 2, 3 attempts. I don't think that was about a bad setup if you kind of take those. Couple of legs down. We've tried again and dropped again. So for me, I think this either needs a bigger correction or we're going to start to work down, because after 2 big pushes up, you know, in a push up, we could have a reasonable sort of a down spell. So I think we might have topped off our highs for the moment. I am trying to look at the bigger picture. Hey, Wilson, how are you doing, mate? I hope you're well. I did read your earlier on, actually. I hope you're well, bud. Oh, well, drop it in. Bye to wish you luck. Thank you, mate. I need it. I had a bit of a sting yesterday. I took a what I thought was a triple test. I'm on Thomas Way's Discord, Discord, and there was a lot of people talking about it and looking at it, but we hadn't had a setup for a while. And you know, sometimes you focusing on the setups too much, waiting for that bar, and you sort of miss the fact that there's a bit of congestion there. So I took a bit of a sting yesterday, but the trouble is, what I've found lately, you trade one contract, I trade two. But what I find is I'm splitting them into 10 and 10. So I've never traded that many accounts before. And what I was doing is trading two contracts. But instead of getting out for 2 points, I was getting out for a point. So $100. Because I was sort of losing my confidence in the trade. So what I've thought now is I go back to one contract and then go for 2 points. I'll end up with the same profit and save a little bit on what's the overall progress on other accounts. They're all fine, mate, to be fair. I haven't taken a lot of trades. My accounts range from, I think the lowest is about 250 and the highest is about 900. So I suppose they average about $400 each at the moment, something like that. My total is 7 grand. 7 grand them, yeah, so just under. But I really haven't taken many trades lately. I've missed a few because I've tended to be a little bit overcautious. And I think that's probably down to the amount I'm trading. But I'm only trading 10 at a time. But yeah, I'm kind of well, as you know, I've tended to float around the 2 to 4 PAs. You know, you've traded 20 multiple times, so it's just, you know, when you go up to that next level, it just tweaks that brain a little bit, doesn't it? It just adds that little bit of pressure. So I think by dropping from 2 to 1 contract, I'll tend to wait for the full 2 points, which is giving me $100, which is what I was getting with 2 contracts because I was coming out half the profit. So I think this is a better option. But yeah, just that jump up to the larger amount of accounts is just adding that little bit of pressure. But my win rate's good. I think my win rate's about 88, 89%. It didn't help yesterday, but yeah, it's just it's like every sort of bigger step you take, it just adds that little bit of pressure. Don't you? I had a feeling that was going to drop like that. But there you go. It's your first go at 20 PAs account. So yeah. I would love to trade 20, but I just don't trust Rhythmic. I really love. I mean, if it was 100% safe, if Apex said, if anything happens to Rhythmic, we will sort you out 100%, I probably would. But yeah, I'm down to 1 contract and I trade. I'm trading the CL as well. I tend to have some. I had a trade on it earlier, had a win there, and had a small win there. I got out a bit early, but that was the trade. But yeah, like you say, it's the first leg up anyway. How are you? Nothing too serious? You're back soon, I hope. How's the CL? To be honest with you, mate, I'm taking about 3 times the amount of trades on the CL. I mean, look at that channel. Look how nice that channel worked. We had an overshoot of it. Look, this to me, the way I see the ES is, it's like knowing an untrustworthy person that's going to stab you in the back. That's what I feel with the ES. Like it's trying to trap you and it's going to stab you in the back. That's the best way to describe it. But the CL is like someone you've just met and seems quite nice, if I can describe it like that. Oh, good at the end. We're back in the second week. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Yeah, I mean, your elf's got to come first for sure. Absolutely. You're on Rhythmic and Apex. Yeah, Chris, I know when you get a blanket outage, they reset your accounts. Now, you know, if it happened to loads of people, but I have heard the odd person say they never reset my accounts. Now, you can imagine getting 20 accounts something goes wrong and Apex says, well, it has, it, you know, it's just you. It must be something you've done, which is kind of like why my screen looks so messy as it is. I've got absolutely everything on here for proof. Because when I tell people, you know, regularly to download OBS and record their screen, at least that way, you know, you've got some proof. And I like to think as a streamer, you've got maybe a little bit more power. So, I mean, as a business, you don't really want to upset too many streamers there because, I mean, in all fairness, Apex have been crucified by some of them, haven't they? Not that I'm a big fish. I'm a sort of a small fish in a big pond, but looking at that, is it E-Man or I-Man? He's had like 40-odd thousand views, so, you know. Yeah, you too. I appreciate that, bud. I appreciate that, mate. Thanks. Thing's stupid, no. To be honest with you, I don't revenge trade at all now. I can walk away perfectly fine. But yeah, you get well soon, bud. And keep in touch. Nice of you to pop in, mate. You're welcome anytime. Anytime. So I had a feeling when we made 3 attempts to go higher, this may start to work down now. So yeah, good on you, mate. Good on you, bud. Oh no, bloody hell, what's happening? Everyone's coming out of the woodwork now. Where you been, Sam? You disappeared again. I know you had a tough day, didn't you, on that last day? And if you're anything like me, I can probably guess what happened, but we don't need to go there, do we? Still training at the moment, not just streaming. Yeah, it's tough with streaming, isn't it? I know this might sound a bit strange. I have taken a trade on the CLT. Good on you, mate. Yeah, there's definitely a few around today. That's for certain. I know it sounds a bit strange, but I actually get more nervous when I'm not streaming and trading. I kind of don't like it, and I think it's because I've been doing it that long. I've been doing it over a year and a half now. I think I've been doing it that long. I just feel uncomfortable without it. It sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? But oh, hello. But yeah, this CL seems a lot more. I mean, look how nice that's working there. We had that clear overshoot. Look, nice failure there. Not really trapping anything, but pushing up. And this to me, CL. Yeah, it has been naff, hasn't it? The first time I looked at it, I thought this is a chart I want to trade. And then all of a sudden, they had the rollover to the was it the 8th or 7th, and then it just looked shit. So you know, the last few days I haven't done much, but I have done now. I'd say 4 to 1. So for every 1 trade I take on the ES, I'm taking 4 on here. There's a triple test there, trapping some longs. So this may come down for a retest, but I ain't getting involved in this. I just took my 1 trade, and that's me. Yeah, I think for anyone listening who is quite new, if you can get a winner on a Friday, ditch it, go and have a beer. It's much better to be green. See, Sam, you remind me so much of me 6 months ago. Just taking too many trades. It's that vicious circle. But after a while, something does change in your head. It changed with me about 4 months ago, and you just take... I think you go then from one extreme to the other. You tend to go from being a bit careless to overcautious. But it is all part of the journey. But it is a mind melt. It's an absolute mind melt, but it does get better and better and better. You just like to talk. Probably all your talking on the stream calms you down. That may be some of it, mate. Sort of getting rid of some of my nervous energy. There's probably some truth in that, mate. Was that a hint I should shut up? Hello, Nick. How you doing, mate? How are you getting on lately? Are you taking money on the ES or not? It's not been brilliant lately, is it? Although there has been a few setups here. I looked at that one after those 3 pushes. I looked at that lower high. I also looked at that higher low after the 2 measured legs, and that would have worked. And that would have worked. But I think sometimes I need to, instead of thinking, oh, look at that, I think I need to just maybe take it. The trouble is, when you don't get many setups in the ES, and all of a sudden when you get one, you're kind of saying something doesn't seem right here. All of a sudden, if a friend you never speaks to turns up and brings you a bottle of wine, it's like, okay, yeah, what's going on? Yeah, it probably does, mate. It may chill me a bit. Nothing. Took a loss 2 days ago. My bars were insanely off, really. Reloaded my chart. I just threw up. Now I'm clearing cache every day. Yeah, I do every day, mate. I have something called, I can't drag it in, but it's called Apex Desktop Assistant. If I click it, it may bring something into screen that I can show you. Yeah, I don't know if I can move it. Yeah, I can. It's called Apex Desktop Assistant, and I just double click it, and I click that, and I click NinjaTrader 8. It's asking me to shut it down, and it says clear all cache, and it clears everything. And I do that as part of at the end of every session. I just try to make things as smoothly as I can. He's going to borrow money for sure. What are you on about? Who's going to borrow money? What are you on about, mate? But yeah, I took a loss yesterday. That kind of triple test. Do you know, I was looking at it, thinking we've bounced 3 times. It was almost identical. The one that shows it. It was almost identical to this. Who hasn't talked for a while? Are you on about? Which one are you on about, bud? Yeah, it was almost identical to this. We'd hit a bottom earlier on, and we had like 1, 2, 3 bounces, and I took a triple test, and it triggered me and went like that. Which is a bit frustrated. Which one are you on about, Osam? Insanely off. Yeah, I clear mine every day. It's just part of my shutdown. Make sure it's as refreshed as I can, really, because you just never know. I mean, I'm not techie enough to know whether it really makes a difference, but from everyone I've spoken to, you mentioned someone earlier, a friend. Oh, I see what you mean, a friend with wine. Yeah, it's. I'm just on about this. What's it really? The ES. It's suspicious, isn't it? There is a triple test there actually. 1, 2, 3, but I'd have preferred to trap that bull bar. Leg down, a break. That was if it was actually a, yeah, I mean, there is still distance down to the bottom, isn't there? Whatever happened to Gorilla? I don't know, mate, actually. First drink of wine. Questions. I don't know. I was chatting to a guy maybe 8, 9 months ago. I can't remember who it was. And he said, what do you think about the Gorilla guy? And I went, yeah, I like him. I like his style. I like he goes for more points. He's the type of guy I'd like to watch a little bit more of. And he said he interested in joining. I said, yeah. So he said he was going to join now. And then he messaged me back about an hour or so later. Yeah, I think he paid $100. He messaged me back about an hour later, and he said he'd had an email saying he was having his money returned, that he was taking a break. So whether he was taking a break from... from doing his live streaming, or whether he was taking a break from trading, I don't know. But this was before all this stuff, started happening in Israel, because he was from Israel, just outside Tel Aviv. So I can't see how that was involved, but I don't know, mate, to be fair. I liked him. I liked the sound of him. I liked his, I liked the way he traded. I like kind of his style. I think he has a free circle type chart. What they're called? He has a what? He has the free circle type chart. I don't know, Nikros. How long does it take you to pass an evaluation? Me personally, I'm probably not the best person to answer that, mate. That depends, mate. If you've got PAs and you can keep PAs, I've got no issues with trying to pass them quickly. If you're quite new to trade and you haven't been trading long, I wouldn't try and pass them quickly. I'd just take your time. So I got two schools of thought on that. But yeah, if you're quite new, I wouldn't be too. There's a triple test there, isn't there? So tempted to take that. Trouble is, after this overshoot, we're going to have two legs up, come down, another retest. So I'm just going to sit tight, I think. So yeah, I mean, if you're new to trading, newish, I'd just take your time. If you want to have a go at one, just take your time. But if you've been doing it a while and you've got PAs, then you can speed it up a bit. I tend to pass them in a day if I can. But I haven't taken one now in a month. Managed to hold these. You used it before. I liked his logo. Yeah. You used it before. Chart, forget what it's called. You tinkered with it. The little balls. I'm missing here. Oh, tinker. Yeah, I did, yeah. See what you mean, yeah. He trades very similar to Mac. But I mean, for instance, this is his type of trade. Two legs back after this big leg up. That's the type of trade he'd get into. And this is the type of area where he'd want to get out. You know what I mean? What's that chart called? I'm not sure what you mean, bud. You might have to elaborate. Okay, that triple test did work. After that overshoot, a leg up with a break and a bit of sideways. I just wanted to give that a little bit of time because we've had such a big, strong move down there. We could get a bit of a correction and then down some more. So I just wanted to leave that. I want a little bit more confirmation we're going up first before I think about taking that long, because there's not much room to the highs. So let's just put that there. And if we continue on up, then I may start to think about longs, but I'd like to give it a chance to come down and have a retest of that. What's that chart called? I'm not sure what you mean, Chris. You might have to elaborate there, bud. Yeah, I wish he did trade, because I did like him. I liked his confidence. It's not often you can watch a streamer who's experienced and good and confident. And you noticed I didn't include myself in that comment. But he's been doing it quite a few years. See, I wish Thomas Wade had stream. I do. And I wish Daniel had stream as well. Daniel Kushin. I wish he'd stream. But the trouble is, if you haven't streamed and you've made a success of it, I think you'd be daft to, because it changed the dynamic of it. With me, I haven't. For the last 18 months, I don't know anything else. My goal is 50 a day. Is that too slow? Not at all, mate. I am very new, yeah. I would honestly say to you, mate, and I don't want to put you off, and I don't want to say you can't do this. You do what you want to do, okay? But what I would say is, if I started to learn to trade now, I would not put a penny into it for a year, for 12 months. Obviously, if you were trading Max, you might have to pay for a little bit of education, but I would, senior moment, yeah. Oh, Bookmap, yeah. I have that, mate, quite regular. I would spend a year spending as much time as you can to learn something like max strategy and learn to read the charts. I wouldn't put a penny in, knowing what I know now, to get some experience, at least a year, and then I would have one evaluation, and I wouldn't have a valuation specifically to get a PA. I would get an evaluation just to have that little bit of skin in the game, because obviously you've got to work on that psychology side as well, which is another element to trading. So I wouldn't think about, if you've recently new to evaluations, I wouldn't even think about trying to pass them. Just play the game, turn up every day, put the hours in, keep it real. 50k, trade a couple of contracts, but get the experience of having some skin in the game, because it is like a bloody great big long ladder learning to trade, and you've got to go one step at a time. And if you go too much, you slip back a few. So that's what I would say. Yeah, I looked at Bookmap for a while. Yeah, see, I'm kind of glad I stayed out of that now. It did work to the top, but then it came down. So I want to see a little bit more movement up before I consider making long. So we've had that overshoot. We've had a leg up with a break, new high, and then 3 more attempts to go higher. So we have made attempts to go higher. So this could come down and have another attempt at this. So I'm just sitting tight there. If I'd have taken that, you'd have wanted to be out for the top. Which is, I tend to want to get out. Just one contract, yeah. So that's where I'd want to get out there. $50 one contract, is that right? Or I go for 10.6. Oh, no. That's where I want to be getting out there. So I'm kind of glad I stayed out of that. So we've had a break of this, and then 1-2 pushes down to a new low. So there's going to be some shorts in there which have been trapped by the looks of things. But is this thing going up? It's hard to say. I did have a feeling we'd have a big pullback after those 2 pushes up. So we've had 2 pushes up. So push up, leg and a leg. So that might be a leg and a leg. So I think it's sort of feasible. We have something like that. I would humbly add to start with 1 micro to have some skin in the game. Absolutely. There's multiple ways of you can do it, but I think that, excuse me a sec. Yeah, I think that the general advice is start small and work up. I've been trading a little over 3.5 years now, and I think my chart reading is okay for my level. I think it's my strongest point. But I've moved up now to another level by trading larger amounts of accounts. So I'm feeling it now. So I've got to take a step back now and say, okay, I think it's identifying your level of comfort. And I think trading 2 contracts is just sort of push me out my comfort zone a little bit. And if it does, you're more likely to make some mistakes, I think. So always try and keep within your level of a comfort, and don't try and run before you can walk, because I've tried to bloody well sprint before I can walk, and I can assure you it makes your journey a lot more frustrating and a lot more expensive. So baby steps it is. It's like a really, really long marathon you do on your hands and knees. It's the only sort of way I can, not the best analogy, but it is very small steps. Also, you say $50. I wouldn't have a monetary target, because you can only give the market, you can only take what the market gives you. What I would say is, if you make $50, then you quit. I wouldn't do a target. I I'd say if you make $50, then you quit, or if you have 2 winners, then you quit. I'd have those types of targets, but I wouldn't aim to get a certain money. In fact, the best probably advice I can give you is don't think about money. That's why I think some people find things harder, because they think about money. And whatever you do, don't do what I did and give your job up after a month, because that makes your life harder. Because when you have to make money to survive out of trading, it gets 10 times harder. That's something for 4 or 5 years down the line. When you're consistent, then you can start think about, living on it. So yeah, I've had to come down to 1 contract today because it takes the sting out of the tail, really. I would say my balls aren't the biggest set you come across, put it that way. So my slight issue with going long here is we're quite a ways from support, so I wouldn't be surprised if this area was visited. But we may get something like that first. I was just listening to OSUM the other day, yesterday, and looking at the bigger picture. Because all of a sudden, if you see this coming down here, you can clearly see going short here would probably the worst thing you can do. So by seeing what the market does, the bigger picture, it can give you probably an idea of where to stay out. Like going long up here is probably not the best thing to do, is it? It's playing out, isn't it? Yeah. So, getting into longs and that right at the top of 2 legs is probably the best idea, is it? So, yeah. I was listening to what you said, bud. You seem to, every time I see you send me a picture of trade, you entered here and it's up here and you got big profits. And I know you're doing it sensible because you're just trading 1 contract. So, we can clearly see there's 2 pushes up there. So it's inevitable that we're going to get some form of a correction or a pullback. And I think we tried to get up to the top, but it failed, didn't we? We came down, we had 3 pushes up, and we just couldn't get up. That's something that happens when you get older. You can't get it up. So then we had a push and a drop, a little bit of a pullback, and then down into that down channel. So this is a leg. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a couple of attempts and something else. But it is, listen to OSUM yesterday talking about not seeing the trees for the forest. He doesn't see trees now, he sees forest. The trees are these individual things. The forest is the sort of bigger picture, and you can have a better idea by looking at it doesn't look like you can, but if you sort of break it down, we had that leg down, a couple of legs up, a couple of legs down. You can sort of work out where there's a better chance probably of not getting into. So yeah, we kind of had a leg and a leg there, didn't we? And then we had a decent sized pullback. So it's not as exact science, but it does kind of give you a better idea where things are probably likely to go. I think it's probably where maybe to stay out. As I say, going long up here after kind of 2 clear pushes is probably not the wisest of choices. So we've had a leg down there with a break, 2 pushes down to a new low. So trouble is, if you're getting long here, 2 legs, we may come down and it may sting you. So actually, I think looking at a bigger chart might provide a better picture. Have a look at the 10,000 tick chart. Yeah, you can see 2 legs, and there's a leg. This looks like a bit of a pullback. You probably may get something like that now. May. 2 legs there, and then a big pullback. Couple of legs up, couple of legs down, and then off in another direction. So yeah, if you look at the low of the day here and the high of the day here, after they've had that big push, we get a really big correction. And same here. We got this, not quite the low of the day, but then right up high, right down low and push up. So I think it would be feasible we get that with a couple of, maybe a correction, maybe down. This is all sort of hypothetical, but you can sort of get a better idea of maybe where to start. Mac mentioned that in his manual. Did he really? Yeah, I might read that again, actually. I went through it a couple of times, but over 2 years ago. So I did. I was with Mac for a year. I joined this thing for a year, and then I had 6 months off, and I thought, you know, people say, I'm always trying to improve my trading and try not to sort of forget your roots. And I thought, actually, I probably should go back and revisit the basics. And it kind of worked, because I think every time you read something, you take a little bit more out of it, or a different element out of it. You know, have you ever read a book twice and you think, I don't remember reading that the first time round? So that's what I'm going to do over the weekend. I'm going to read the manual. I did get it ring binded, so I've always got it. So I'm going to go through that again and maybe pick up some things that I forgot on, maybe some bad habits. Single tree. This is it. Is that what you mean, single tree there? Is that what you're on about? Or am I just completely getting there? It's all right. Sometimes I get stuck in my own waffling. So after this big push up, we had that push down, didn't we? Where are we here? A little bit of a break, 2 drops. Something doesn't. Okay. Well, something didn't seem right there. So break, push up, push up. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it is important to think about the bigger picture, isn't it? Leg down, couple of legs up, new test. But you know, it is possible we could get a break and a leg. We could get down to this level now. Who knows? What is this thing doing? What I will say is, after an overshoot, sometimes we'll have a correction, which that looks to me like a correction, and sometimes it'll come down and break the bottoms or retest the bottoms. We've gone sideways and we've had a drop and pushed up strongly, so I have a feeling this now is probably just going to continue on up. How far for, I don't know, but I wouldn't necessarily, after we've... It's hard to say. We could get a push and it could come down, but after we've had that initial attempt to come down, it pushed up a lot higher, so maybe it's 2 legs and then down. I don't know. But I think this is, you know, every day I had a thought of... Try again. I had to think about what I did yesterday and what happened yesterday, because as long as I take a trade that I believe to be a good setup, I've got no problem with it losing. And that is what used to trigger me if I took a trade I knew was risky. Now, I took that trade yesterday. Where was it? It was here, wasn't it? Let's have a look at that. I took that trade. It was there. I took, yeah, see, we got lows down here, so that was the trade I took. Let's just have a quick look at it. So we've got a channel down there. It was a little bit of unsure where exactly the channel was. Sometimes we put it from there. So it's just one of those things. So looking at that, I had a bar across there like that. So I'm just trying to work out what might have gone wrong here. I can't remember. Let's put it there. And also it was kind of a bit rangy as well. So there was a bit of support across there. So we'd had a leg and a leg, didn't we? So that's one thing. Now I took that bar, was it that bar or that bar? I took that bar I did as a triple test. That one I left. Or was it that bar I took? No, I think it was that one. Yeah, it was that bar I took. It was a second entry short and a triple test. Now, what's wrong with this picture? It is congested. So I was that focused on thinking, this is, if we get a good bar here, this is a triple test and I'm taking it. I was that focused. So I was blinded by the detail. I was just looking at the bigger picture and how far to get down here. But what am I missing here? What's happened? We're not quite got to this edge here, and we've had 1, 2, 3 bounces, and we've pushed up every time. So we've made 3 attempts to go lower. So if I've read this chart wrong and we've had a break, there's the new low. So there's multiple things you could do here. You know, it may be something like that or something like that, in which case we've had a break. It wasn't the best looking channel. So if we'd had a break of that there, we've had a break and a new low, it makes sense, it's going to push up. So I always like to look back on it and figure out what I did wrong, what I did right, why did it, you know, and the only thing I can think of, it's clearly congested. There's no argument. There's a box around there. So it was risky, but I think the chance of a triple test in a downtrend and with that much space down the bottom to make 2 points, I think blinded me. I didn't look at the detail, but that's okay, because when you lose money on a trade like that, you tend to not forget that, because, you know, it affects you. So next time I see something like this, I'll be asking myself the same question. Have we looked like we've bottomed? If we've had a break, have we possibly made a new low? In which case, the safer option is wait for the lower high. So, but I've got no problem. I tend to use it as a lesson, and that taught me something yesterday. So I lost $300 times 10. That lesson was way more valuable than I lost. Matt went over that trend. Well, he went over the one before, bud. Where is it now? Yeah, was it that one? Yeah, I left that one and took that one, because that to me was only a first entry. That was the second entry. Sometimes I've taken trades like that, and they'll come down, stop you out, and then go in the... You've heard Max say that. They'll trigger you, stop you out, and then go in that direction. And that's what I thought that was. I thought that was a bit premature. That was a better option. But if you took that one, or that one, they all stopped you out. But congestion, I think, is the key there. And the fact that we have bounced 3 times and made a potential low. But that's okay. I can learn from that. As long as I take a trade that I believed to be a good setup, I'll happily take that on the chin and learn from it. I'm okay with that. I'll take value from it. So yeah, it's, you know, you're never going to master this overnight. It's going to take years and years of getting better and improving. You know, I'm pretty sure that in another 2 years I'll be much better trader than I am now, and then another 5 years after that, and you will get better and better, and you get wise to things. When you lose things and things cost you money, you start to get wise to them. I used to get trapped all the time going back a year or two ago. I don't often now, and that's just down to experience. You know, every year you do this, you get better and better. You know, guys that I sort of look up to 2 years ahead of me, people like Marco and Daniel, they're the people I sort of turn to and listen to, and kind of, you know, I have chit chats with people all the time. What happened here? What happened there? What am I missing? So this is a little bit in kind of no man's land here. We're not at the bottoms, and we've had a channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new low, couple of legs up, a strong pullback, and then a strong push above. So have we come down to retest that, and now we're pushing higher, possibly? There may even be a bit of a range there. Just looking at the bottoms. So that's possible. So we've had a break in new low. We could make one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, and then down some more. So leg down, 2 legs up, and then down, maybe to retest these. See, after that big push up, you'd expect 2 pushes down. That is probably one. And I'd expect something like this, then maybe a second. We'll see. Yeah, I wish Mac could do that more often. Look at where, people, because obviously he's been trading 20, 25 years plus. Sometimes he doesn't talk of things because he probably doesn't entertain them as a trade because he's been doing it. But I wish he would. I wish he'd open up a little bit more and talk about, where people may have been trapped. But, after that loss yesterday, and that took $3,300 out my account, it took a fair chunk of it out. Now, 6 months ago, so I'd have finished the stream and I'd have revenge traded them all till I either got my money back or I'd lost the account. But I quite happily walked away, went downstairs, drank a bottle of it. No, I went downstairs, just relaxed, forgot about it for the evening. But then the following day, that little bit of frustration goes, you learn from it. But you feel a good sense of achievement then because you've achieved what not every trader gets. So many traders give up before they start to be able to deal with the emotional side of it, because once you can do that and you stop blowing up accounts, and then you're on the ride, and you'll just keep getting better and better. But you have to stop that blowing accounts. That's one thing that plagued me for a while. I can't tell you how horrible I used to feel jumping in, just clicking long 5 times or changing it to 10 contracts and seeing it going up. It's jump in and try and get 2 or 3. I would just buy and sell until either I got my money back or I'd blown it. Why you stop saw NQ as a reference chart? Well, what I found is if I was looking at a setup where the setup might not be brilliant, I was looking at that and thinking if that looks like it's going in the direction. So in other words, I was using it to make a poor setup valid. And not only that, if I saw a good setup, I was looking at the NQ. And if the NQ didn't look as good, I'd leave it. And I found I was missing good trades and it was getting me into... So it was swings and roundabouts, really, but it's one of those things you try and... but I decided to trade it on its own, and I was trading one contract. And to be honest with you, I was just trading it a bit recklessly. Because I was sort of more experimental with it, but I wasn't focusing on the other charts. So I honestly think 2 charts is enough. I like the way this CL works. I took a trade there, it worked. I took a trade there, it worked. Although it went sideways and I got out for a little bit less, but 2 trades, both worked. I've not seen a great deal on here. So this for me, and it's working lovely. I mean, look at that yesterday. It's hard to read. There are moments of clarity, but look how nice that's fitting. I mean, how often do we see an ES chart look that good? Look at the top, perfect, 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 all the way down, perfect, perfect. Even that bar there, look how nice. Every single one of those bars is sitting perfectly on that line, and then a clear overshoot followed by a reversal, or at least a couple of legs up, maybe a retest. But this is a nice chart. Actually, it helped me to look for the time the NQ break. Obtain from the ES. Yeah, I think the NQ is a bit of a wild stallion, and I think you're better off either just trading it on its own or not trading at all personally, because it moves really quick and. I don't know, it spooks me a little bit. I think you need balls to trade it. So for me, just the 2. And I'm running out of screen as well. Not only that, I had the NQ. I got 1 screen above. I had the NQ on half one side and the CL on the other. And I was zooming in and out and just not focusing properly. But it can give you mixed signals. I try these things because, I'm always trying to, better myself. There's 2 legs up here. There's a bull bar there that's triggered. I'd like to see that push for there and reverse a bit, but That's weird. Got a channel with a break. Push up new high. So a bearish bar here may prove a short. We'll see. See if that triggers and comes down. So we've got a leg down with a break to push down to a new low. One attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. That's interesting. Pushed above and then hit with a bearish bar.
Order submitted.
Leg and a leg. Not quite bearish enough for me. But it is two legs, also a leg, a break. Let's see if we get a lower high. I don't think that's a bad bar, actually. It's 10 ticks, isn't it?
Order cancelled. Look, that did work, didn't it? See if we get a lower high. There'll be some liquidity there for starters. Order submitted.
It's tempted. Considering lower high to confirm. See if we get a lower high trapping someone. Oh, I hate it when it goes orange. Hurry up and go back. Come on, there we go. Scary. That's working, isn't it? I didn't think it was that bad. I preferred another touch up here, but it was clearly a leg with a break. 1, 2, push up to new high. I like the way it triggered that and came down. It's a fell breakout as well. I was very tempted to take that when it pulled back. Comfortably made 2 points.
Order cancelled.
Two, three.
Thomas Way took that trade. Someone said I didn't get it. Well, he took it on a lower high, apparently. There's a lower high here. Someone said I didn't get a lower high, and someone said he's not on Rhythmic. He's trading his own account, isn't he, see? So, leg up. So there has been a few setups today. I don't think that was terrible, actually. That's triggered, so there's going to be some liquidity below there. There's bound to be some down here. Yeah, Marco got the same as me. I think taking a shorty is a bit risky. If that is a channel, it could come up here and take that out. Yeah, it's weird. If you'd have taken your scalp, you'd have got it there. Then that came back out and took your runner. It's weird how this market works, isn't it? I think down here is very likely, I think. May end up getting right down here, you never know. It's kind of like a head and shoulders pattern, isn't it? Shoulder, head, shoulder. Break below there, I think it's definitely going to get down to the bottom. So. A little second entry short be nice. Let's have a little push up here and then come down bearish, down sideways and then down again. Come on, a little push up. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes, he does, bud. Yeah. It cost me $105 per 3 months. But what I like about it is he's in there and he posts his charts about every 5 minutes. Marco's in there and Taylor from Marco and Taylor from Top Pick Trading's in there as well. That's kind of what I like it. So if I'm not sure about a channel myself, I like to have. See, you guys can look at me. You guys can look at my chart and compare it to yours. So I've got nothing here. I'm just going to drag this in quickly. There's a lower high he took there, but it's just nice to see someone else's chart, so it is worthwhile in my opinion. So he took a lower high, I'm assuming. Let's have a look. He took it on the engulfing, yeah, so that one there. I was hoping we'd have a little push up here, a little bit of leg and a leg. We still may, and then down for the final push. Little bullish bar up to here, trigger it, and then come down bearish. I'll have a go at that.
Order submitted.
Order ready, just in case. Might have gone a bit too far now. Interesting. That's a second entry short there. See how that. Trouble is, I don't want to wait for it to get down there because that's just too big then. Second entry short, I like the way it's triggered that. See how it finishes, eh? Yeah, it is. So if you'd have had a lower high there, it came up, took out your runner. I just hope it doesn't go too much further. I'm just going to take it on
Order
engulfing.
submitted.
Hope it passes through. It hasn't triggered it, has it? I thought it might have done. Oh well, we'll see. You'd think it would do that. Come back up, take your runner. We'll see anyway. That hasn't triggered yet, so I'm in a bit early, but I think it's okay. Or are we going to get a triple test and it's going to bounce? Ooh. Breaks below there, I'm going to drop my watts in. Come on.
Come on. Drop below there. Okay, I'll take that now. Come on. Drop.
Order filled.
I wasn't prepared to, just in case. It's probably going to come down, but I don't know. Why have I not? What?
Order filled.
There's trade still in there. What is going on today?
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
This trade's not triggering for some reason. I don't know what is going on there. Something's just not triggering for some reason today. So my trade stayed open. Actually made me a bit more money though, just a little bit. What did I get out for a tick? Yeah, a couple of them I got a bit more out there. That one, and that one. I don't know what the hell is going on, I got to say. Stuff just isn't triggering today. And we've had a new low buy tick anyway, so sorry about that. I don't know what's going on today, I really don't. Do you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. For some reason, if you look at my 3 accounts, I got extra ticks when it went up. So it's almost like there was buy orders there. It's weird, that. The sell orders turned to buy orders, 3 of them, so I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, it's acting a bit funny today. Let me just... so I was just looking at on the Apex Discord, see if we had anything there. I mean, it looks like it may get down. I think it's likely to take this area out, isn't it? But I don't know. This is just going a bit sideways now. It gets very untrue. There's obviously a battle going on because there's obviously some shorts in there, isn't there? There's obviously some buyers thinking, I don't know if it's me or Rhythmic, but I've never made a mistake before. I thought I entered with 10 micros. And it was 100. Luckily, it was on lever. Crikey. Yeah, the good thing about this, I noticed something. Well, I noticed up here first that there was still some amounts in these boxes. The only thing that I've got to get rid of, someone may have to do this. The little, when something sells, you get those little green and red boxes that pop up, don't you? And then disappear. I want to try and get rid of them because they're getting in the way of this orders tab. Luckily, it's allowing me to close them. Otherwise, it gets a bit scary. There's obviously a battle going on here. Funny all day today. We actually made a new tick, sorry, a new low there by a tick, so it may come down again. It's hard to say, really. I think it's likely it comes down. So we've got a channel down there with a break new low, one attempt to go higher, second. As that pushed strongly through the EMA, that is the type of setup that What's-It would take, the Penguin. So channel down with a break new low, two attempts to go higher, push strongly through the EMA. He'd take that. So I think that's going to push down to those lows. He'd take that probably there. And he'd want to be out by the lows, which I think he comfortably would be. So that is the type of trade I think he'd take. Leg down. Are all your PAs lifetime active? Yes, they are, bud. Yeah. If you can keep PAs, I'd suggest you do that because you're under no pressure to trade then. You want to take a month off, something's not working, you haven't got to worry about trying to make money. The trouble is, as soon as you've got to make money, that's when there's a lot more stress involved. It's very tempting there.
Order submitted. Order
I've already
canceled.
made a new low, so I'll just sit tight there. Actually,
Order
I
submitted.
think I like that. Tough on that. I actually like that channel. It's just gone a bit too big now, that's the thing. Yeah, it's just turned too big now.
Order
Excuse me a
canceled.
sec.
Order
Actually, I
submitted.
like it. I'm going to hold it.
Come on. Push.
Order
Okay.
filled.
Probably going to get out some more, but let's make sure I'm out. I think I am, yeah. It's probably going to go. I like this. I like the way 1, 2, 3. I'd say sideways, that is going to push down for a big push. Once it gets below there, it's probably going to push, but it's been a bit of a rocky day today, a bit of a scary day for me. I have got into more trades today, which is a good thing because it's not so scary, but I kind of still want to get out, but I think it'll be all right after the weekend. Good break. I think that's going to launch down, I think. There's definitely something larger. I like the fact we've had the leg down. We've gone sideways. We've picked our top there. We've got a nice bearish bar there. Nice bearish bar, trapping any longs and clearing out all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to go. I should have held it, but that's okay. That's okay. So, I mean, yeah, look at that. Nice big push down. I wasn't scared anymore because my stop was way up. Was it? Yeah, I like that one. It was a failed second entry long as well. Let's have a look. Failed second entry long. Yeah. So I like that. I just noticed this bigger channel. It's fitting beautifully. I should have just held on just another minute or so, and I'd have been okay. Then I got a nice push there for $100, but that's okay. It's definitely causing me less stress anyway. I want to see if it gets, yeah. But we got a push down there. I like the way I had a break, and then we had 2 attempts to go. What another reason I got in there is that to me is a penguin style trade. Channel break, 2 pushes to another. That's played out, made 1 attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, bounced off support, came down, a little bit of a pullback, and then whoosh, big strong bar straight through. Now, he'd have taken that on a limit order. I'll look later to see, but he'd have taken that on a limit order, which he'd have got, and then he'd have got out comfortably before the bottom. But yeah, there's another one I look at now and again, but clearly 2 attempts to go higher. But if you look at them, I bet they're not far off from the tick as well. So I should have held, but my balls are improving. Yeah, but I mean, look at that. Literally a tick or 2 away there. In fact, that's a little bit larger. Yeah, I mean, look, 1 tick off there, 2 lovely legs back, and then nice strong push down. Predicted the small pullback as well. Yeah, it's a good idea we had that down. We had 1 attempt and another attempt, trapping some longs there, but I should have just held there because... But it doesn't worry me too much. The reason I don't is because of nerves and all that changing larger, you know, but if you can identify this, I mean, look where it's going. Even if you take it down, you know, leave it where it is there and then put it to the next swing, you've guaranteed yourself 1.25 points. And then, you know, you just take it down per bar or whatever, and there's 5 points there. You know, once we come down to this open, you may even drop it down there, but look at the potential. Just a little bit more confidence, but that'll come in time. I've moved up to this next level. Where's the second entry that failed? That, to me, is a failure. So there's a new high there after that. It's a second entry short. So new high, try to go once, try to go high twice, and it failed, and it trapped the longs as well. So we got a bit of sideways down here, the longs. So new high after that one, try to go once, try to go twice, and it failed. Push strongly below, and then obviously once it got a few ticks below here, you know, people are buying here, their stop's going to be further down, and once that got so far, that's why we had that quick push. Naturally, we get a quick pullback usually. Never broke lower. So no second entry.
That was there was a second entry short there, yeah. It is a failure. That's a failure in my book. So look. Yeah, it's a failure on my book. Yeah, Thomas Wade's. Let me have a look. Anybody else see that as a failure? New high. I see that as a failure. I see what you mean. It's gone a bit higher than there, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. I think for me more this one. Bottom on your chart was also failed second entry long. Yeah, he's mentioned it. Thomas Wade's mentioned it. I don't know. For me more. Touch. So I identified a bigger channel and we're down the bottom as well. One leg, two legs back, right to the top. Strong push down, pull back, another lower high, or whatever I want to call it, and then down. Have you seen the chart I sent to you? I haven't, no. Have a look. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, you're expected to come right down, aren't you? Yeah, you had a lower high there, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, you've done well there, mate. You're in a nice profit there. Good on you, mate. Yeah, good on you. We were at the middle. That's what. Why it was slow. Yeah. Yeah. The fact when that broke above there, sometimes you just got to get in. That to me was just going to push down from there. But when it goes sideways, initially I think I got in there. But if I'd have just been patient, I think that's the key. Yeah, Thomas Wade's put it down as a failed second entry. Maybe it's a visual type thing. I waited to get to the mid of the two legs. Broke up. Yeah. See, if you'd have had the confidence, really, if you hadn't sort of, I looked at that initially, but I'd have preferred a lower high. I didn't get it on here. Yeah, I mean, you could say visually one attempt to go up second and it's kind of visually, isn't it, if you like? You drew it higher. Drew it higher. Not sure what you mean there, bud. Yeah, yeah, you too, bud. Yeah, it's one of those kind of visual things, isn't it? Why is my bars looking so close together? I don't know. There's a second entry short there, and yeah, I don't know. It's one of those visual things, isn't it? I see Max. I see Max sometimes drawing these, and I'm thinking it's not, but I get what he's saying. Bar space plus. That's a bit better. Yeah. It's more of a visual thing. See, I like the way you get to a little bit. I like the way it triggers a bull bar there, because almost as it goes below and traps that and triggers some shorts, triggers a short there, it kind of tries to push up, but then it ticks above, comes down strongly. So that to me is one leg down and 2 attempts to go. Like they say, traders try and push the market up twice before they'll sort of give up. And after that, as that ticked above there, you can clearly see what happened there, can't you? Which is frustrating, really. I had my stop down, I had my order down here. I should have just left it, but it just came back and nicked me. But that confidence trading bigger accounts. Are you using TradingView to take your trades? No, this is Ninja Trader, bud. Ninja Trader, this is. This is like an all-in-one package. I know some people use TradingView, don't they? I started trading currency, and I used to use it to do my sort of chart sort of analysis, really, and then MT4 to do the things. But this is a great bit of software. This is so leg down. So I think there's a good chance of another leg down, or at least close to. So let's put that to there. Let's put that to there, and hopefully we've just surpassed the lows now, so we may get something. This has come down in one leg, isn't it? So sometimes this second leg is broken into 2, and as we've just hit around here, you wonder whether yeah, the good thing about a leg down and then 2 of those is, there's, if you can get in right at the top here, you're really going to good chance of getting a decent run. Look at that, if I'd have held on to there. Tempting to end your runner. Getting close to the bottom, aren't you? It's hard to know whether we're going to end up tanking down here or not, is it? But we've broken that, haven't we? So it may come back and touch it. It's hard to say. I'd just keep it tight as you can if you want to end it, and then just may get to the bottom here. Previous 2 legs. How about down here? Trouble is, you don't know whether it's going to come back up here a little bit first before it goes any lower. So oh yeah.
If you'd have followed the swings from there to there and to there and to there, you'd be up 9.5 points. And I'll be inclined to maybe take 12 now myself if I was there. But look at that, $600 on one account. So if you can spot these legs and 2 attempts to go higher, followed by that, for me, I was looking at this and thinking, what are we going to do? And straight away it popped into my head. One of the better traders I know is the Penguin guy. We got a leg down here with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. We make 1, 2 attempts to go through, and it fails, in his opinion, when it pushes strongly through that EMA. It pushes strongly, and then we had kind of 2 attempts to pull back and then down again. So he'd have taken that after that push through. He'd have dropped a limit order about here, somewhere around about here. And he'd have been out down here plenty before the low. Yeah, it's getting close there. I had a feeling we were going to at least make a push at some point. The trouble is, sometimes it's just too, it is a second entry short, but it may just not come. I wouldn't want to go short there. It's just too close to these bottoms, really, regardless of whether it'll work or not. So just look at the trades I've marked today. That one up there, I'd have had the full profit. That one there, full profit. That one there, full profit. So out of the 3 trades I've taken, I ended up taking less. But if I'd have just left it, I'd have taken the free profit on all of them. So I'd have been up a total of $300. Excuse me, minus fees. So if I'd have just left it, so it does make sense if I see a trade just to leave it. Sometimes they go a bit sideways. You've just got to. So there was about another 3 or 4 trades I'd taken before yesterday. That same again, I didn't take the full profit. So I think the name of the game is sometimes you lose trades, but you've just got to put it in, leave your 2 points or whatever it is, and then you recognising a cycle advance became key. Yeah. Maybe from the MES, it wouldn't be so stressful. Maybe. I mean, I think because of the loss yesterday, the loss when I was trading 2 contracts, now I'm reduced to 1 contract. I think the thing's a little bit better. It's been a hectic week, and I'm really tired this week. So, how long have I been going? 3 hours, actually. So I'm probably going to knock it on the head now. All in all, I think I'm up around about, I don't know, $1,400, $1,300, somewhere along the lines of that. Let's have a look. P&L. Okay. Yeah, just over $1,300 for the day. So, yeah, I'm gonna. That's an all right day for me. $1,300. I mean, if you do that every day, and even the little bits of tatty stuff I've got today, $1,300, that's over $6.5 grand a week. It's a ton of money, really. So I think it's working out what you can earn over a month once you get your cushion. So even, yeah, you know, even if you earned $3,000 on all your accounts in a week, which is not a lot, that's $12,000 a month. Once you've got your accounts to a certain amount, even if you take, you know, $500 out of each account, a small amount, it's still $10,000 a month, you know, and obviously you're going to continue to get better and better. So yeah, that's me done, I think. It just rattled me yesterday. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's no way on earth I come in a range trade. That's completely gone. There was no urge to do that, not in the slightest. But when you have had a big loss, it does play on your mind a bit. But it didn't affect my mood. But I just wanted to have a you bought an inhaler. But I'm going to go down and have a couple of whiskies now anyway. So that is me done for the week. So I'll leave it there. So what more can I say? So look, have a great weekend. Don't forget, next week, 4th of July is on a Thursday. Friday may be low. I don't know yet. Listen to what the general vibe is. But I am sorted. Ended up on a green on all the accounts, although it's a small amount. But if I'd have just left things, I would have more than doubled what I got today. So I think the name of the game is, unless it goes, well, I say unless it goes sideways, that one goes sideways. But I would say probably 8 out of the 10 of the trades that I decide to get out of go on to make money. So I think the name of the game is, as Max says, don't monkey with them. Just put it in, set your points, and forget it, sit back. So, yeah, you too, Kanan. So have a great weekend, folks. If you're carrying on trading, best of luck. But stay safe, and I will be back on Monday. Bye for now.